Okay. Excuse 1 moment. Yeah, great and great and great. So hello and hello everyone. We're excited to be live again. This is EAZY-DIGI, and uh, of course, we are a research and training-based organization on educational technology and 21st century learning systems. And so we are always coming online to to have conversations on various issues that are not so common in a landscape, bringing it to the limelight and getting everyone informed, and putting us in a place where in the education sector we can really increase our productivity. We can really our outcome is really enhanced and can really match up with global standard. So we're excited. We're excited to be live, to be online again. This year. This is the first major event we're having this year, and then it's a cybersecurity conference. Um, and we're gonna have it in two ways. We're gonna so this edition is for the parents, and the next edition will be for educators. Right today, we're gonna be speaking to parents on how they can stay safe online, right, uh, and how they can also guide their kids in staying safe online. How can you stay safe online? And how can you also guide your kids in staying safe online? That's the focus of today's conference. Last year, a lot of lessons, so many lessons to learn from 2021. I mean, so many lessons, so many. And one of the lessons that we learned from last year is what we're doing today, right? The need to to focus on cyber literacy, right? A global risks report was released recently, a few days ago, by the World Economic Forum. And one of the issues raised in that report is a rise in cyber attacks, right? Globally, there's a huge rise in cyber attacks. Now, it's happening like this. We know in the future it's going to be stronger. And so it is only wise to lay a foundation down to education, right? That's going to help our kids to handle this major issue. Everyone needs to know how to handle this, right? We know right now our education is not so flexible to really address a lot of current affairs, right? But we can't wait for some things to change, right? We need to just do something now. We know our curriculum is not strong enough, is not aligned and current enough, right, to give the kids we have today what they need to thrive in their future. And so we want to make sure that we are doing something about that, not just talking about it, right? And that's again is why we have this conference where parents are concerned. Some parents are not willing to embrace blended learning, to embrace e-learning for their kids, of course, because of these concerns. How will my kid be safe online and all of that? How will my kid not go the wrong route? And all of those issues, put together is why we have this conference today, right? And I am so excited that uh okay our facilitator for today is around. She is online. Yeah, so today we didn't want to take too much of time, right? We're just going to get into the business of the day. And I will ask for those that are able to join us in the Zoom room. Awesome, nice. If you're not able to join in the Zoom room, if you're watching from YouTube, please feel free to drop your chat on YouTube, and we'll see it. And then if you have a question, you can actually ask right from YouTube, and then we'll see it. And then we'll also respond to your questions um, right from YouTube. So we want to make this as interactive as much as possible. Yeah, so our facilitator is going to be doing a presentation first of all, and um, after the presentation, we're going to be taking questions, right? So, but in the course of the presentation, feel free to share your thoughts, right? It's okay. Um, Feel free to share your thoughts, and feel free to ask questions um, as we go on. All right. So in a few minutes, I'll bring up our facilitator. And like we sent the message in the mail, for you to maximize this event, please look for a quiet place, get your pen and paper, and be willing to share your thoughts even as we go on. And then if you have some friends around who you think they shouldn't miss this event, please you can reach out to them and then let them get on this flight. Um, so that they don't miss this, right? So whether you're with us on Zoom or you're viewing from YouTube, we are excited to have you here. Thank you so much. Thank you and thank you. So in the Zoom room, I see David Adeyemi, I see Pelumi, I see Adeni. Thank you for joining us, right? You are welcome. All right. So I have to say a few things about our facilitator, right? And then I am going to hand over to her, right? Okay, so um, she's an entrepreneur and cybersecurity and sales expert for over 12 years, and as both an operator in digital media and a motivational speaker. She's the managing director and CEO of Macintosh Information Technology Limited, a technology and business management service provider, right? She is a business and tech enthusiast, and she's passionately committed to making the world a better place in our only two ways. She's a versatile member of Moms in Business International, an organization created to develop mothers and orientate them into channeling a better source of income and keeping their home in a good, peaceful, and financially stable shape. Um, she has been actively involved in the business management of several organizations and was able to create a niche for her entrepreneurial skills. Uh, She blogs on ISAT, a media reach that enlightens youth entrepreneurs on career paths and compares various certifications and their benefits with several learning highlights. She is She's a graduate of computer science from Malabi Sonoband University, and she has a whole lot of certifications ranging from ITIL, Google Expert, Oracle, CRM, and expert in cybersecurity with relevant skills in certified ethical hacker, CISSP, um, and a whole lot, and a whole lot, and a whole lot. She's a member of the NECA's network of entrepreneurial women and a council member at the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and of course many more prestigious association, right? There's a lot here that I really cannot pull up, but we have an amazing uh person with us today. So let me know, ma'am, can you hear me? Miss Oluwatoyin, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome. So is it okay if I hand over to you now?
Okay, so you have to give me permission to share my screen.
Sure, I'm going to do it right away. And you have the permission now.
Can you see my screen?
Very well. Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, thank you.
Great.
And I hope you can see me also.
Very well. Yes, I can see you.
Okay. Do we have this recorded?
Yeah, of course, on YouTube.
Okay, thank you. So good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you for signing in, everyone. I was actually hoping quite a number of people will be signing in because I got quite a number of requests on they were trying to get the link. So I hope they're able to check their link in their email. Before me today is the topic cybersecurity, basics for 21st century parents. But the first question, or what I'm going to say, first of all, is what is cybersecurity? Cybersecurity is the practice of defending computers, servers, mobile devices, electronic systems, networks, and data from malicious attacks. It's also known as information technology security. So let's talk about cyberspace. When we say cyberspace, what exactly do we mean by that? Cyberspace is anything that has to do with the internet. We use, is anything that has to do with the internet. We use the internet to communicate and stay connected to our friends and families. The kids play video games, download music, and watch TV shows and movies. Our mobile apps are also used for banking, shopping, and social collaboration, and other important everyday activities online. But before I dive into the topic of today, I would like you to meet Toyin Ifesanya. So who am I? Who is Toyin Ifesanya? Thank you so much. It's our moderator has actually shared a bit about me. I'll just give you a brief of what I have been into for the past 12 years. I have over 12 years experience in technology, and I'm a career transition coach and a cybersecurity expert. I'm the CEO of Macintosh Information Technology Limited. Macintosh is an integrated capacity building firm. We are into training, technological trainings, and of course, business management training and services. We render several other solutions ranging from ISO implementation, GDPR policy implementation, cloud services, and cybersecurity vulnerability and testing. That is a bit about Macintosh. I also founded the company called MacTech Hub. MacTech Hub is a website that bridges the gap between freelancers and project owners. You can say it's an outsourcing firm, an outsourcing site. However, it's more focused on professionals that have hands-on experience. I also founded WTech Africa. WTech Africa is a forum for aspiring women in technology, majorly because of my passion. I love to help with career transition. I love to see people do the career, be in the right career that in turn will make them happy. So, and I have interest in seeing that women take up the leadership position in technology. This I brief of a few things that I've been into for over 12 years. Now let's talk about the current situation of the world. Never before have children been more exposed to the new ideas, innovations, cultures, science forms of art as they are today. And right at the center of it all is the big wide web. The internet can be a wonderful tool for the children. It's a platform for research, school reports, communicate with teachers, and play interactive games. However, while this is a useful tool and standard practice for youngsters, it continues to create another worry for the parents and, of course, the guardians. Why do we need to secure the cyberspace for our children? That's a big question. Crimes that happen in real life, such as stealing, also happen in the internet. Just like you must look both ways before crossing the street, you must be careful when using the internet. Oftentimes, children might not realize that their actions online may hurt them, the members of the family, or even the country at large. Learning about the dangers online and taking action to protect ourselves and our children is the first step in making the internet a safe place for all. There are many risks involved in surfing the internet, the web, and without education, it is an easy trap for the children to fall into. As a parent, it is important to keep your children protected against the many dangers that may lurk in cyberspace. Now, let's look at the current digital lives of kids, of children of today. Kids ages 5, from ages 5, and of course to the teenage level age, 5 to 18. They usually spend over 7 hours and 38 minutes per day online. If a child sleeps 8 hours per night, that means 1/2 of the time that he or she is awake is spent online. 33% online, 32% off, maybe when they're awake, and 32% asleep. So what are the common issues faced by these children when they are online? We have a few that has been highlighted here. There are quite a number of issues that faces the kids. However, let's just look at a few ones that are a bit common in our society and in the world at large. We have the cyber predators, we have the cyber bullying, we have the identity theft, social media engineering. So when we talk about the cyber predators, who are they? What are they into? What exactly, or what is their mode of operation? You know, these people actually search online for other people in order to use, control, or harm them in some way. And then we have the bullying. This is an electronic posting of mean-spirited messages about a person, often anonymously. We then have the identity theft. It's the illegal use of someone else's personal information to steal money or credit. And then in the context of information security, let's look at the social engineering. Social engineering is the use of deceptive or manipulative way of indulging confidential or personal information that may be used for fraudulent purposes. So they take quite a number of information gathering just to ensure that they are able to present, they are able to come in, they deceive their victim to be able to get whatever harm they want to do. Now, because of the time, I understand I have 30 minutes and I want to try and treat a few common areas as much as possible before I then dive into the theories around in my presentation. I want to run us through examples, the day-to-day real-life scenarios. So I'm going to be using Alvin. The first scenario one I'm going to create here is about Alvin, who actually loves to take pictures online. He loves to take pictures with his phone, and he loves to share them online. He shares them with his friends, with family members, or whoever cares to see his pictures. But his mom had actually asked him to stop sharing his videos or pictures online. He didn't understand why. And at the point, the mom had to take a time to explain to him that there are cyber bullies and predators monitoring their activities. And sometimes they gather information about these children, the school they go to, their age, what they like, and a few other things. And then they come to these children with those information and gain the confidence of these children and get access to harm them in whatever ways they had planned to. So it is important that we let our children know that you do not post pictures. It's okay to post a few of the pictures to your friends, but you need to be sure of who and who will be seeing your pictures. I'm going to cite an example of the Instagram. We have the privacy, where you have private or business. If you're there for a business purpose, then you can actually make your account visible to every dictionary because you want to sell a product. However, if this is for social networking and then you have a few of your friends that you are confident on, you know that you can allow them to be your followers, then it's in a way safe to post updates of your pictures, but with little information as to that could make them gather so much about you. And then it's also important as parents to ensure that whatever applications, apps that are installed on the systems or phones of our children are well checked to be sure that the JPRS is turned off. And of course, the location and of course their webcam. I'm sure some of us are familiar with trying to install an application and then you have some prompts that says allow the app have access to your photos, to your pictures, or to your gallery. Allow the app have access to your location. A lot of people don't even know what it means. They just click yes, 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 and they're done. For not knowing that when you keep saying a yes, yes to some of these applications, you are giving them the right to have your database, your contacts, your location, and everything about you. And sometimes some of these applications, appear innocent, like somebody is just trying to download a game that looks attractive. However, the builders of those applications or the game in question actually has an ulterior motive to gather information about the children or about whoever will be using the games. So it is very imperative that we check the app or whatever it is that has been installed by our wards. Let me go to the next scenario. Just a minute. Now, the scenario 2. This is also very common in the children of now. Like everybody goes to the Play Store, they go to the Apple iPhone, whatever it is, Apple Store rather, and they go and download just to prove that they are techie savvy and all that. And sometimes they genuinely download some of these apps because they want to play the game, or they want to get some. They want to download apps that could help them in terms of improving their education or their skills. However, some of these apps also poses a lot of threats. Now, the scenario 2 says, Alvin loves to download games on his tab. He loves to try out new things. After a while, there are lots of apps. There are lots of apps on Alvin on Alvin's system that he no longer needs. So should he leave those applications, those apps on the system, or does he need to delete them? Now, ideally, it's okay to say, oh, I downloaded an application or a particular game. I'm not using it now. Let it be there anytime I want to play the game. I'm going to visit it. But as soon as you know that you're no longer interested in a particular application or a particular app that has been installed on your phone or any of your devices, it is important that you uninstall as long as you no longer use them, because some of these apps can pose privacy risk, threats, and of course, violate your security settings and the likes. And also, deleting these applications also would help you free the memory space. And then sometimes you have unwanted adverts on some of these games, they pop up, and some could be misleading. It could sometimes, when the child clicks it, take them off that particular game and take them off to another site, which could be another distraction, or which could actually be an unsafe site. So it's important we are also educated so that we are able to look through all this for our children and ensure that they are safe. Parents should be aware of what their children see, and activities on the internet, what they meet and who they meet, and what they share about themselves. So I believe this has been addressed at the beginning of the first scenario. We have talked about being aware of what they're into, letting them know that they don't just send anything about themselves online, they are cautious. So now let's look at scenario 3. Alvin loves TikTok and Snapchats and a lot more of several games. And I'm sure a lot of us can relate to this. My child now talks about TikTok, and I didn't even introduce them to TikTok. But the things you don't even teach them here at home, they won't learn it in school. So it's very important that we're able to check and discuss with them. So when they talk about some of this social sites, we are able to tell them the risks that are involved, and then we know their age based, to control a certain thing. So this can also pose a threat through the social engineering. We talked about what social engineering is. People gather information and then they deceive the person involved just to entice them, and then they become their victim. So it says that social engineering is a real cyber threat, and kids are targets as they easily can be drawn to exciting and promises or even emotional pressures. The cyber criminals don't care about how young their victims are. So it's important. We have a lot of predators out there who apparently just want to, just for their own selfish reason, want to just harm the children. Let's look at the scenario 4. Scenario 4 is about Alvin's password. And as you can see, Alvin loves to use his birth dates and of course his name as passwords. A lot of us we are victims of this. Some of us, we use the name of our children as our password. We use names or birthdays as our password. And these are things that a lot of these predictors, they have an idea of how it works. So when they gather some of this information, if they're trying to hack your device, either your email, either your social media handles, they would use those tools. They will use those information, and then they are able to gain access. So it is important that we train our children, we teach them on how they can create smart passwords. This is a huge security challenge, and it's a privacy risk. So you have to come up, you need to let them know that there are several other ways of creating smart passwords. So I'm going to cite an example of what I mean. You can put down different password block methods, things that are familiar with the children, and then we'll apply the alphanumeric approach. Now, let's talk about alphanumeric. Just a minute. Okay. Let's talk about alphanumeric. What is alphanumeric? I'm sure a lot of us understand, may have heard about it. So it's just a combination of using your alphabets, your figures, alongside whatever names or whatever thing you are going to be putting down. So for instance, I want to say, I want my son to use, I want to put, maybe lock his tab, and then I want him to be able to recall what he has used as his password. In my own instance, I actually asked him for his best, the game he loves most. And he told me the game he loves most is Magic Tiles. So if Magic Tiles is his best game, it's easier for me to say, in case he forgets his password, I tell him, Magic, can you remember your best game? And then it tells me. And then I could now twist it such that I'm able to put in the alphanumeric that is not easy for any predator or any cyber bully to be able to have access to, or the hackers to be able to have access to. So now this looks like, this is an alphanumeric password. Magic Tiles 4 plus 4 is equals to 8. So depending on the stage of your child, the age of your child, some of these passwords, helping them create passwords that are well secured is very important. And then sometimes you change the password every 2 months. It's very important. So this and a few other signs are the characters and figures that are used in the alphanumeric setting. Now let's look at the second one, which is the multi-factor authentication. Teach your child about the multi-factor authentication. It's just a combination of your password alongside a unique code. So for instance, now you can use your phone, you can actually link your phone number to whatever applications. Majorly the social platforms now have them. They now have the two-factor authentication. So you put in the password and you request that you want to do a multi-factor authentication. And then they ask you, what means do you want to configure this? You can use your phone number to get the code there, or you use your email, or you decide to create a particular code that will be like a second method of accessing whatever devices that you want to have. So it's important so that you don't have breaches, malwares, attackers, hackers, to penetrate your child's devices. Let's look at the fifth scenario. Yeah, Alvin received a link from his friend innocently. He received a link from his friend, and then his friend told him that it's going to be it's the new Snapchat, and innocently he clicked on the link, and then that became a virus. He clicked on the link. As innocent as it looks like, it may have gotten some of his information at the background. And that is why we try and tell people, be very careful. This also applies to the parents. You see some people, they send you a link on your WhatsApp. They say Domino Pizza is giving out free Domino. Click the link to win. Or Jumia is celebrating the 50th anniversary. Click the link to win a gift. We need to be very careful. We need to be very careful not to expose ourselves and our information to these hackers. So it's important that you encourage your kids, show them, let them show you what they want to download or click per time. You need to look for ways in which you're able to ensure that at every point in time, they are safe. They are in a safe zone. Now, there's something that we call the parental control. There's several tools. I will be running you through the tools later in my other slides. So we have tools for parental control. Your parental control will help you. You can set locations. You know the location where your children are depending if you want to activate the location. You know the activities they are doing. You know what they have downloaded. You either will give them an approval to download. And quite a number of things. So let's go to the next slide. I have the next scenario. Alvin was given his dad's former phone. Unfortunately, it does not get updates anymore. Now, a lot of us are victims of this, even as parents. When you have the moment the manufacturer of a particular device no longer sends you updates, reasons for you to update your system or your phone, your tab, please try and get rid of that device. It's very important because of your security. That's to tell you that they are no longer supporting the software. And that is a breach, a data breach already. That means the hackers there can actually, based on these old softwares, without some updates on their security, they can actually break through your phone, your devices, or whatsoever you are using. It's very, very important to update your devices. And as such, be sure that whatever devices your children are having are also devices that are still supported by the manufacturer by giving the new updates. So this actually, and many more. So let's talk about the next scenario. Alvin loves to play games online with his friends, and he likes to take pictures and make stickers and stream videos and make researches to find new apps and games. Now, you can agree with me that this is the current trend with our Gen Z generation. They are very inquisitive. They love to try new things, that they want to explore. They are so eager to get use of to make use of the gadgets. Whereas we as parents obviously have we have reasons why we're using these gadgets. And yes, they also have valid reasons to use the gadget, because in this age and time, they do a lot of research online, they do a lot of online trainings. So they can't practically do without these gadgets. But it is important that we are able to ensure that they're in a safe zone. There are several safe search engines that you can actually install on your child's device. You have Fact Monster, you have Safe Search Kits, you have the Kid Rex. There are quite a number of them. So instead of them just going to the Google search, where they just go and then dump whatever it is, and then it gives them different options. And then they are distracted. They see something that seems like interesting. They click on it, and then it takes them off the guard. So these are a few things that one has to be very careful about. Excuse me. And it's very important that we set this safe search engines as default on their system. Now let's look at the last scenario before I dive into the other topics of the day. So the other slides that I have with me. Alvin was using the internet on his family's home computer to research a school project on dolphins. He just finished finding the perfect article before shutting down, and it's Alvin, and he decides to quickly check his email account. And in his email, Alvin sees a mail called whipstack@whoknows.com with a subject line that reads, "You've won $5,000. And quickly, he opens the email to collect his prize. Now, I'm going to pause here. This is exactly a lot of issues we are still facing even as parents. Some of us get some emails and then we see this, it's enticing. Don't forget I explained to you the social engineering. Now, these are the methods. They want to get information from you, and then they lure you with something that will be enticing. So you can imagine you've won $5,000. Did he make any application, or did he, so these are questions. So you get some emails that says you've just won or you get an email that says you've been given an award given an award, and quite a number of things. And then innocently you go there, you click the link, it takes you to the next page, you click the link, and then it keeps going till they get all your information. Now, let's go back to what Alvin did. Alvin won $5,000. Quickly opens the sweepstakes email to collect his prize. After doing so, Alvin receives a message instructing him to provide personal information to verify his identity. Alvin provides his full name, birthday, home address, and phone number. He has given them everything that they need, So, and before he knew it, as soon as he hits submit, instantly he starts receiving messages saying his computer has been infected by a virus. Jack panics because he does not, Alvin panics because he does not want to get into trouble. Now, I'll just cite a few more scenarios as regarding this. Now, as this is a virus that has attacked the system, I want you to also understand that some of these antivirus organizations create some of these viruses so that there will be a reason for you to buy and purchase that software. So if everybody is secured, what would that be the reason why they have to go and purchase Kaspersky and other EAZY-DIGI and all that antivirus software? So there's actually a reason why you get these attacks. So it's important that we inform our children on best ways to not to click on links and be aware of the tricks and issues that they can face in the cyberspace. So why should I learn about cybersecurity as a parent? I'm sure we've said quite a number of things, and I'm considering my time. I'm going to run through a few other slides, but I believe that the scenarios I've been able to explain in detail some of the traps our kids can get into. Every parent must be a smart parent, cyber smart parent. Be a cyber smart parent. Yes, it's important. We've gone at those days that you would sit down and your mothers, in the olden days or in those days, your mothers would say, please come and click this for me. No way. You call your children, you call the children to come out. No, you have to do it yourself, because the children has to see what you know, and then so that you are also aware of what they are doing. They bring whatever it is they're bringing forward. You are in the know. You are smart to be able to relate to what you're doing. Now let's see. It has one of the reasons why you must be a cyber smart parent rather is the influence on your kids. I will just cite a few examples before I read out this. I could remember there was a particular book that a friend of mine stumbled into, and the book appeared very innocent, the cover says everything a girl child needs to know. I read something similar to that, like everything they need to know as a female, as a girl, and sincerely, it was a good book the topic sounds really good and attractive. And I, for one, would have said it was good to purchase the book. And at the point, opening the book, you had instances where it talked about, okay, when you are feeling this, when you're having some symptoms, you're getting into puberty and the likes. But then when flipping into the middle of the book, you saw something like, it's okay to touch yourself as a lady. And then you flip into again, encouraging encouraging masturbation. And then you flip into it again, you see another side that says it's okay for you to have a girl as your girlfriend. And then they showed some pictures of two girls, and so we need to be very sensitive as parents. Now, these books are no longer, some books are still physical, but now we are in the age and time where You read books online. You don't know well what your children are reading online. You don't know the books they are reading. So it influences their decision. This is their formative year, formation year. And while they are currently in the process, we need to help them and be very mindful of what they are doing. Many kids today have access to several gadgets and computers. Your kid sees, watch, hear, and say a lot of things from whatever they feed themselves with. And it's important as a parent to be involved, sees and manage what these kids have access to over the internet, especially when they are still young. It's important. So let's look at the next reason why you should be a cyber smart parent, the decision making. Our children also make a lot of decisions. They have peer pressures, and they learn from their environment, and of course the cyberspace. They learn a lot from it. A lot of children make decisions today by what they see or read online. I remember I was telling my son, you mustn't check, you mustn't do this, you mustn't do that. And the next thing he told me, my friend does it. My friend says it's okay. Mommy, why don't you want me to do it? Then I had to sit him down and explain why he shouldn't do it. So they have a sort of confidence even in their friends. A lot of children make decisions today by what they see or read online. A child will just wake up one day and decide to be a gay or lesbian. He or she has been influenced one way or the other from what he has seen or heard or has been involved with through his friends or even online. So we need to be very, very careful. Very careful. It's important for us to learn cybersecurity tips. It is very important because whether we like it or not, the World Wide Web has come to stay. Everything revolves around the cyberspace. You want to take your child to school, there's online materials. Sometimes they read from the materials. During the COVID, we saw the impact it made. We had to all go into the future of now. And then the children had to start, reading and having their classes online. So it has come to stay. It's not only about children playing games. So it's sometimes when you say the screen time now has been justified to be extended because they need to read sometimes on their tab. So we need to now be very careful of the distractions that they can get, because to every technology, there's a disruption. Now let's look at it. It says we should talk openly with your children about their online activity. So I'll run through them so that you can. It says talk open with your children. I think I've told you about it, that we should please try as much as possible. Try to see the applications they want to install. And we'll get to the place where I'll show you the parental control devices, applications that you can use. So you need to let them know, let them come to meet you. Mommy, please, can I download this? Daddy, please, can I download this? Because it helps you to, at least that's one of the first step in ensuring that your child is secured. The next one in the slide is know your values. I'll just read through this. It says, we want our children to grow up with a solid, grounded sense of right and wrong. It is vital to teaching them that their online reputation is just as important as their in-person reputation. A time will come when they will access the internet outside the safety of your home, and you want them to be prepared for that moment. So whatever parental control you have in place, they can actually go to their friend's place and then says, oh, can I have your tab? And then they look through the tab. So your values can then work and play its role at that time. So it's important that we instill values on our children. How they behave, interact with people, and represent themselves in a public forum will set the stage for their future. Thus, what our children say, do, and do online will be a digital footprint that will follow. The next slide says, do not underestimate your children. Children are curious. They are curious beings. You'll be surprised what they know. So you don't underestimate them. Be their friend so that you can know to at least a greater extent what they know. They are most likely online more often than you. No, it is important to engage with them and learn how to navigate the online web together, making them understand what downloading privileges mean and create family boundaries. Set boundaries and restrict social media access. So depending on their age, at what age should they start accessing a particular social media platform? So a child of age 3, what is the child doing on TikTok? What is the child doing on some social media platforms? Because these are platforms you cannot regulate, because there are no parental controls whatsoever. It's limited. So you need to be mindful of what they do in some certain so-called social platforms. Always stipulate the terms and conditions of the family rules. Make your children understand that there are consequences for breaking these rules. Let's go to the next stage, the next slide. Parental control. Now, for younger children, you might consider checking browser history to monitor which sites they are on. I remember there was a particular time I always try as much as possible to check the history of what my children are searching for. Now, even if you put the parental control in place, sometimes it's important to sniff in, try and see what they have been exposed to, because you can't say, you can't tell until sometimes you have to do your own investigation. Do not always assume, because they have other influences out there. So sometimes I go to the browser, and I check. There's a parental control. So if you are within the age 3 to 5, you can't see anything with anything after that age. However, I want to see your searches. So that alone gives me an idea of a few things that you know. So please, let us be cyber safe conscious. Okay, so we talked, okay, also set up parameters around your children gaining access to certain websites that you would deem as inappropriate. So don't forget, I'd mentioned earlier in one of the scenarios that you should, as much as possible, try and use the safe searches zone, the kids zone, or depending on their age, you use a safe search zone. With that, it's going to help them. Whatever they go there to search, it will be within their age group. So then let's look at the safety hubs to consider. You have your parental control on Alexa and Google Home voice assistant devices for smart home environments, as well as KidG parental control and custodial. So these are a few things you may want to use. Blocking pop-ups is important, because sometimes they go to a particular site innocently, that this pop-up that just comes in, or some push notifications, and they're attracted to it, then they click it. So when you block these pop-ups wouldn't show when they are browsing or making their research online. So please, can I know how many minutes is left, please, so that I can be fast to round off?
Yeah, 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
Yes.
so since I have 5 minutes, So from what I have here, it says be careful of the strangers. So we talked about trying to ensure you talk to your children to be aware of what they do online, who they talk to, who they chat. I'll quickly cite an example here, and this actually happened to one of someone that is very popular, one of the popular musician, right? A daughter is barely, I think a daughter is around 9 to 10 years old, but she's on Instagram. And then she came shouting and screaming and, post saying that somebody sent nude pictures to our daughter online. A man sent nude pictures to our daughter online through our DM. That's annoying. Okay. So I got us. Okay, so as I was saying, so it's quite very important that we talk to them, make them understand that they do not talk to strangers. You don't need to get yourself engaged with people you don't know. So I think I've mentioned that and I've cited examples. Now there's a place of respect, age restrictions. So you should be able to, with your parental control, you should be able to put in that in place. And with that is going to help guide what they can watch per time or within their age group. Now we have what we say, protect with strong passwords and antivirus software. So I'd actually mentioned this in one of the scenarios. Very important. You need to have strong password. Do not forget the multi-authentication password. Do not forget the alphanumeric password. Very important. And of course, the software and the antiviruses. And of course, when you are, make sure you secure your home network by encrypting your VPNs. Very important. Make sure that whatever applications that are being installed on their devices, you are checking to be sure that you have not allowed the address or location of the child to be known. And quite a number of other measures are in place. So the next slide, so that because of the time, I cited an example for the safety apps that you can consider. We have, just a minute. We have the kids zone. It's a parental control. You can actually lock with password depending on their age. So when they get to, they can't go beyond that zone. You set it in your tab, download it, and then they can only use that environment you've created for them. They can't actually go and just install without your permission. They would, before they do any installation, they will have to ask you to put in your code as a parent before they can do the installation. Now, Kaspersky also has what is called Kaspersky Safe Kids. So when that is installed as an antivirus, it will ask you the age group of that child, and you will notice that the child cannot do anything that is above that age group. We also have the YouTube Kids in the areas of maybe they want to watch things online. You don't allow any child go to YouTube, because YouTube is censored, is the age group is from 18 and above. So no child should be allowed to go and start streaming directly from YouTube. If you need your child within the age group of 2 years to a certain age, I think 17, please, they have so many activities and videos that are relevant to their age. So it's safe for you to have your YouTube Kids installed. And good enough, most smart devices now has YouTube Kids installed and other applications that are safe for kids. Now there's another one which is a bit away from the software, which is a bit away from the device. This is like a further protection for your children. So we have what we call the Life 360. The Life 360, just a minute. The Life 360, when installed on any of the applications, in these days and time, when sometimes you hear of kidnapping there and there, it helps you share a real time location of your child. So if your child is expected to be in school as at 3 a.m., as at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and then is away from that location, you get a prompt wherever you are, and then immediately gives you a real life update on where your child is at that time, because you have set the zone of where your child should be. And then you place it, gives you an alert that your child is off the zone and that your child is at a particular location. So this is also another safety tips that we can actually want to consider, and then it sends you part-time reports depending on what you put there. And then you also get pictures of the environment. Yes. So that's about Life 360. Very, very lovely software that I encourage quite a number of, I encourage parents to consider having on their devices. You also have what we call the Google Link. Google Link would also creates all the digital habits. So when your child wants to install anything that is away from like I explained, you get an alert and then you get a prompt. You either will give access or you deny the access. These things are important. You can install your Norton family. You can make use of smart zone family plans, flexibility, and then you're able to get a lot of this control. Let's quickly look into keep track of your children's time online. Very important. Sometimes be nosy. Sometimes go and check what they are doing. Like you can try and follow them if depending on their age, maybe they are within the ages that you feel allowing them to have the social media platform is okay. So please be their follower. Try and check what they are doing, what they are posting, what their friends are posting. It's very important. So don't leave them and say, okay, you feel because this person is, no, please, it's very important for you to check. Let them say you are nosy, it's important. Let's go to the next one. Prevent, manage fake news carefully. So I've talked about this earlier, where you have sometimes you get fake news and then they are lured to start clicking the link, and then in turn they get all the hackers get all their information and the likes. Now we have the be honest. This is like the last slide. So be honest. One of the most important things about digital ethics is to cultivate in your children to always ask for help when they are not familiar with the site or content on their screen. If your child asks questions about what they have seen online, make sure to answer those questions as honestly as possible. Please, we get to a state, I know we've talked about some, maybe if you're talking about sex education and the likes, it gets to a stage where you tell your child exactly what it is, so that they don't go outside to go and hear about it. And then they say, my mom lies, and then they won't come back to you. So it's important you're a bit more sensitive as to how to go about your response, and then this will help create a habit and a mindset that they should always have the courage to come to you if they experience or see unfamiliar or harmful content online. As parents, we can use the tools and educate our children about various online threats. But at the end of the day, how we approach the conversation of web safety with our children is the most important. We can't always sit with them or keep a watch eye on them 24/7. That is not possible. So we need to trust ourselves that through the measures we have put in place and the values that we have instilled, the value that we have taught our children, that it will be their moral compass when they navigate the web. So with this, I'm going to say thank you. I'll just give you a little bit of a few other things that we are into. I'd actually introduced myself as the founder, the CEO of Macintosh Consulting. So I just want to quickly tell you that we actually have a program for children. It's called the Macintosh Consulting Gen Z Digital Literacy Scheme. So we have, for summer period, we have summer academy, and then we also partner with secondary schools and university to train them on different aspects in IT. So in technology, so we run them through the 5 pillars of our curriculum. The curriculum is designed to bring out the genius in your child. We offer an all-encompassing technology curriculum for kids, covering coding foundation to scientific exploration, design thinking to robotics. It is also the only platform to provide specific teaching expertise for different faculties of technology. We have the coding, the 360 degree. We have the coding. We have the teamwork, social collaboration, creative thinking, scientific exploration, and of course, advanced tech. So we have covered quite a number of other things: the coding foundation, mobile application, AI, machine learning, robotics, graphics, and of course, digital safety and smartness. The digital safety and smartness actually teaches children on how to be cyber safe online. So if you want to get to reach me, you can actually contact me or contact any of, just call any of the numbers on the screen. You can get to speak to me. And of course, you can also send emails to our training link, email that you have here, trainings@macintoshconsulting.com. So I want to say a very big thank you for sitting down to listen to us, to me. I want to believe that I've been able to impact. And after this lecture or this webinar, we're going to start, doing all that has been taught here. You would go to set your parental controls and follow the methods and some of the examples that we have stated in our webinar. Thank you very much.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This really has been an awesome time, I must confess. Right. So this is a lot, right? I'm trying to. This is a lot. So we have a lot of questions here, and then we're gonna get into the question. And I must say that this is please if you are viewing from YouTube, please do well to put in your question. And if you are on Zoom, you can use the chat room. I'll see your question just right here, and then I'll relate it to a facilitator. Right. So once again, thank you so much, Ma, for taking us through this journey, cybersecurity basics for 21st century. For this is just the basics, and then just to get every parent aware, and then putting every parent in a place where they can rightly guide their kids. I have a number of questions here, and then we'll just get into the questions. Okay, the first question here says, most banking and other useful apps want to have access to your contacts and media. If you don't give permission, the app will not download. What should we do? I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Hear you. I can hear you.
Okay,
So
great,
you
great.
can read that again.
Yeah, so this question says most banking and other useful apps want to have access to your contact and media. If you don't give permission, the app will not download. What should we do?
Okay, so from my experience, I know that they ask you that you can actually give them permission while using that application. There are three options. You give them permission to have access to everything, right? And then they give you the second option. You give them permission to have access while you're using their application. And then you do not give them any permission. So if you do not give them any permission, so why do you need them? But if you give them permission, only when you are using the application, they will not have access to your device, except you have opened up that application on your phone. I hope that answers the question.
Perfectly, yeah, perfectly. 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 Thank you so much for that, ma'am. So another question here says, please, how do we identify phishing, ma, and how can we prevent it? What do you say to that?
Okay, so I think I actually had skipped a particular part where I talked about a few ways to identify the right website.
Okay.
Now, there is a particular, we know that if you want to go to websites, you will either have the domain name and of course .com or .org or whatever it is. But every time you put in any any website link, name rather, and you put it on the browser, automatically it comes with the HTTPS. Now, you have the HTTPS and then you have the HTTP. Now, the HTTP without the S means that site is not secured. I hope you can hear me.
Very well, I can, very well.
Okay, so means that site is not secured. That necessarily doesn't mean that site is not good or is not safe, no. But it just tells you that the owners of that website have taken time not to secure the website because they may collect your information. So sometimes people innocently do not secure their website, but those hackers are deliberate because they want to collect your information, so they don't secure it. They don't put the measures. So you may be careful in that aspect. Now, in terms of the email, most of the time I tell people, when you receive emails, number one, are these emails trusted emails? Number two, the email that the person sending you the email, aside from whether it is trusted or not, is it an email that was requested for? Or is it a social media? Is it a newsletter? Are there any directives after receiving that email? I will explain. Every malicious mail or every hacker would always give you the next directives. So for instance, you click, you see, oh, you've won $5,000, and then you open it. There will be something else to say, click the link to redirect you. They cannot harm you when you open that link on your website, on your email. They cannot harm you. I mean, they cannot get your information rather. But when you start clicking and then it redirects you, then they start whatever information they're trying to gather, they will definitely be able to have access to it. Now, if you receive the email, and then most of the time I tell people, when you pull down your email to see the sender of the mail, when you see the sender, so most of the time the domain names are questionable. So I would say sometimes you see something like, let's say we just use like, okay, Halvin had AB something dash hyphen blah blah blah, like that. And then you see another, you now see the right mailer at the mailing address. You see a second, you see the mailing domain. You will see where that email is coming from directly. I'm sure maybe if there are other times that could actually take us through some of the tricks and some of the things we have to be sensitive about when opening our emails, when we receive emails that seems a bit like a phishing mail. So those are that's just a few that I've mentioned. Checking the domain that is sending that email, and of course the next actions that comes gives you an idea of what type of email it is. And most of our email has filter. Sometimes you see a red flag, So I don't know if that has answered to an extent.
Of course, definitely to an extent. And just like you mentioned, there's really going to be another time where we really get to dig deep into this. Like, as a lot of people have, fallen victim of these things, right, in our society, a lot of people. And then, several times I received some mails, and then a lot of those mails, they tell you the United Nations organization is doing this, that, and that, $35 billion. Just different kind of crazy stuff and just put together in the mail. And then
They're
the
always
last thing,
deceptive. Yes.
exactly. And then the last thing you always find is that they want to get your details, right?
Click the link.
Click a link, then provide the following details so that we can process your payment, so that we can transfer the fund and all of those things, and it's happening. And then that's just a lot of that is happening, and I'm glad that right in this conference this has been addressed. There's another question here. We'll be rounding off very soon. um, this one says teenagers read books online without downloading them. How can I restrict them from going to read online? They are aware you won't like the book, so they do not download. What do you say to that?
Okay, so when you have your parental control on parental control, the parental control on its own filters the information they can get. So even if they're if they use those save searches, they can't get such books there, because that the main essence of those searches that they have to use would have filtered those kind of books that are not accepted. because, you know, it's artificial intelligence. It has a way of understanding the kind of, it has a way of understanding the kind of material or whatever it is, whether it is safe for the child or not. So those parental control has a way of helping out in those aspects.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Thank you so much for that. Awesome. This last question, and before I say a few things, says, are children's search engine as effective as Google search engine to do school assignments? What do you think?
Okay, so it's still the same thing. I said artificial intelligence. You have placed a control, you've put an age gap. That means that even whatever assignment they are doing is within their age gap, and it is educative, right? So it will allow them. Most of the time, the filters are based on a few either, how will I put it, things that are off completely, like sexual content and the likes, you know. So but it's an intelligent search engine that in a way understands that that child is coming to do an assignment within his own age group. So it's going to give them as many information as they need for that, to do the assignment.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. And this last question is coming from me. So I'm on so many WhatsApp platforms. Of course, we know WhatsApp is one common tool that you find a lot of Nigerians where they will WhatsApp for business and many other things. And then you see these shortened links, bit.ly, tiny URL, and those links. This and all of that. This university is giving this scholarship. And then the last thing is there's a bit.ly link, there's a shortened link, or there's a tiny.url link, and all of that and everything. And almost every time, like I've taken it upon myself that anytime I see those things, I just react immediately against things on that WhatsApp platform, right? So that people don't fall victim. What do you say of that as regards shortened links and how to respond to them on various WhatsApp and Telegram platforms?
Okay, so if I'm going to send you a short link, there is a purpose for me sending you the short link. And I've made mention that most of these hackers, they are called social engineering. The method is social engineering. The idea is to deceive you. And then they will use things that would attract you. Now you need to put in this, that this needs your own intelligence to be able to devise whether what they are attracting you with is indeed the is indeed what, you know, is it could it be real? You know, you're telling me that Domino Pizza is doing their 10 years anniversary and they're telling me to come and win a gift. Why can't I go to Domino Pizza's website? Why must I click on your short link to go to their website? I will carry myself to their website to see how true and valid that information is. Now, this and many more we should be aware of. One of the major methods is deceptive. They will deceive you. And now these short links, sometimes even when you click them, does not mean that they've taken all your personal information. However, we advise not to click them. It is the next step. Okay. The next step that gathers other things that either would be like a virus or whatever. It is the next, because they need you to first get to that environment.
Yeah.
And when you get to the environment, then you take your next action. So when you take the next action, then they can penetrate. However, it is also important that we are not also greedy or too much we are looking for freebies. Now, they know that those freebies, Nigerian loves freebies. And, you know, the best way to get a Nigerian is to offer them something that is simply free. And so we need to be very careful, because there's nothing you can do about short link. The Zoom link that we used the registration link that was used for this webinar was shortened. So ideally, if I send you a long link from my website, it's questionable. Sometimes you may not want to click it because it's so when it is shortened. So most of the time, there's always a need. You should be sure that there's a need for you to click this link. and not for you to go and win one prize. Because when you start seeing all those deceptive mail, those deceptive content, then you should be sensitive, because nobody will be there to help you filter these things. You need to you need to be informed. You need to be cyber smart for you to know what to do at the time and what not to do at the time. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. This has really been a very, very interesting one. So insightful and so practical. I said that was my last question, but I just remembered something that has happened, and I believe everyone watching this conference would learn from this. So I discovered that, of course, my Gmail just filters a number of mails, and then I puts them in my spam folder. I want to ask, why is it that the guys that send these stuff, right? Where do they get my mail from? Right. So they send a lot of things to my mail, so many a lot of things. So I'm like, how were they able to have access? Was that something I've done, right, in time past that put me in a place where those guys were able to access my mails? Or would you like to shed light on that?
Okay, so I'll cite an example. I said something. I said one of the major things that these cyber predators do is to gather information. So some of them also go as far as creating apps that are enticing. So you go there, download some of this. It could be even an application for books, right? You go there, you download these things. You put your email because you want to read something online. And then you also don't know the set of people that are working with them. So the application may be for a purpose, which is a genuine one and a valid one. But the people who apparently are working with them are stealing database to sell to other people who apparently are using those database for fraudulent acts. So, and then there's actually some softwares online that generates email addresses. And it's a worldwide web that these email addresses are there right there in the internet. So that alone they can actually use that to even get your email. So getting your email is just the only thing we can just do is just play safe, just to ensure that we do not put our emails everywhere, or just download applications, or then put in our email when they ask us. No, we are just a bit more careful. However, some of these emails can be gotten without stress because it's just available on the World Wide Web. But the only thing is we can actually regulate, or we can ensure that we do not get to click whatever it is that, or try and follow them through to whatever it is they are trying to get from us, by being very careful of the kind of links or the kind of emails we open.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Oluwatoyin Ifesoya. Thank you so much for putting this presentation together and really spending time to really deal with this very serious issue. What gives me concern is the fact that this is a very serious issue, and we do not see we do not see so much effort, right? Either from the government or from our K-12 education right now, on addressing this particular issue. So thank you for what you are doing in that regard, right? As regarding kids staying safe and the programs and everything you're putting together. Of course, there's going to be a lot of partnerships that we'll be getting into in the nearest future, to ensure that we really propagate this and put our society in a place where we are ready to overcome the rise in cyber attacks globally. Right. So thank you once again, Mr. Latwin. Thank you for your time. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you for
Thank
sharing
you
all of this
so
with
much
us.
for
This has
having
really been
us.
so this has really been an awesome and an insightful time. So for participants, you are on Zoom, you're viewing on YouTube. Thank you for staying with us this far. So we know a number of people joined late. You can get the full recording on YouTube, and right there on YouTube, you can ask your questions. Right, Miss Oluwatoyin dropped her contact. If you want to reach her, it's fine. Please do all to reach out to her. And like you mentioned, also too in the presentation, we're going to be having this cybersecurity conference. This is the first of its kind for us, and we're going to be having more and more editions, of this, bringing this to the parents. We are very particular about parents, and then because we see that in the K-12 education, parents are important stakeholders, and they also need to be educated on so many things, not only, and again, because we're in a time where our curriculum needs to be decentralized, right? We have to be intentional about what we call our curriculum in this fourth industrial revolution. There are so many subjects to be scrapped off and so many subjects to be added because they are current affairs, right? Cybersecurity is a current affair, and everyone should be aware. Everyone should be informed. So once again, thank you everyone. Thank you so much. We have your mails. We'll send the feedback form right to your mail, and then we'd like to hear from you about this event. Again, the full recording is available on YouTube. You can watch to go through it again. A number of things were mentioned, right? So you may not be able to like process everything at the same time, but then you can replay and watch and get the full information. And then at the end of it all, apply the things you've learned here. This is going to mean a lot to you. You have to give your time to it and be intentional about parenting as a 21st century parent. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being a part of this conference. This is where we call it a day. We look forward to hearing from you on YouTube and to also receiving your feedback on this conference. Goodbye, everyone, and goodbye.